Nobody's listening, right? Well, this is the show where two married people talk as though no one were listening, but I'm curious. Is anyone listening?
Oh, yeah. This is from Sarah over on Spotify. Oh my gosh. If this was the first NLR episode I'd listened to, I'd assume you were both high as a kite. Were you high? What is going on? This is definitely in reference to last week's episode 115.
High on life.
Listen, we were getting into, I had a theory that someone did email me, might be
Multiple people.
related to chaos theory or something. Multiple people hit up.
Well, it's not just chaos theory. There's the whole thing.
I got to dive deeper into it. And then Elizabeth had some real weird alien brokering stuff going on.
It's called Earth, is something close to Earth seeding.
Sweet. I'm going to get into on that
The thought is
session.
that aliens designed us and put us here.
Oh, cool.
So it's all kind of pulling all of our psychosis together.
Anyways, we were not high whatsoever, right?
Are we entering our getting loopy middle-aged era?
I'm seriously fine with it.
You know what? Have fun.
Have fun.
Whatever it takes. Enjoy.
What do you mean by whatever it takes? Oh, to enjoy the ride. I thought you were like, whatever it takes to get through. I don't know if you meant our union or if you meant your current situation in life or all of it.
No.
What.
I just mean life, kind of what we're saying. Who knows what the goal is here? Who knows what the fuck we're doing here? Why not get a little loopy?
Have fun.
Have fun.
I want to send a special thanks to Songfinch for supporting our show.
Oh, love Songfinch.
Songfinch lets you create an original radio quality song inspired by your own life and the people you love. It's completely unique, personal, and lasts forever. Go to songfinch.com/NLR and start your song. After you purchase, you'll be prompted to add Spotify streaming for your original song for free at $50 value.
Yay!
Can we talk a little bit about some other music stuff real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Number one, most important thing. Our 8-year-old son has just...
His first single is dropping, or has dropped.
Has dropped. He just dropped his first single, and we really want you guys to check it out. Number one, it's just fun. It might be the song of the summer, okay? Number two...
It will be in our house.
Definitely the song of the summer. Number two, we just want to get him a few streams because on Spotify, it doesn't show the streams until it gets over 1,000. If we could get over 1,000 streams for this kid, it would blow his mind.
It would make his wildest dreams come true.
So the song, his artist name is ...
Just ... Yeah.
And the song is called FrOsTbiTe. So if you get on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to music, search ... FrOsTbiTe.
Now, I need to caveat this song by saying, first of all, I think we talked about this last week, but what a amazing thing for him to have. Mm-hmm. You as a dad who can create the music. Yep. It sounds fucking cool. But also, you have a lot of experience. I say one of your big strengths as a record producer and songwriter is basically tailoring everything to the artist's creative vision.
Sure.
I feel like there are a lot of producers who have their sound and kind of make it all about them.
Sure.
But you really honor the artist. Yeah. And you have done that here for our kid. It's our kid really drove the train, right?
Every single lyric you hear, he wrote. Now, I am featured right at the top of the song. He truly insisted on it so much that Elizabeth and I both tried for 2 weeks to get me off of the song. And this whole thing was his vision.
Yeah.
So it is so fun. ... FrOsTbiTe, please stream it.
Please.
Okay, you ready for the next musical thing?
Yes.
Okay. I took our daughter to the LA Community Opera recently.
Yes.
She had a couple friends that were in it.
Yep.
And she was so excited to see her friends. And then at the last minute, one of her friends I took as well. So I took our daughter and her friend. So we get in the car, and these are fourth graders.
Yeah.
And one of them's like, what are we listening to? And I said right out the bat, I said, we can listen to whatever you want.
What a cool dad.
Cool dad move. You guys are DJing, okay?
Oh, cute.
The friend instantly says, now I don't know if you're going to be familiar with this. And if not, I'll explain it to you, okay?
Okay.
But the friend...
By the way, the friend is very cool.
This will become very clear for people that understand this.
Okay.
The friend says, can you put on Dead Milkmen Punk Rock Girl? And I about fell out of my seat and was like, oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. Maybe the coolest thing she could have picked. I told this story to BDT and he like lost his mind.
Wait, what is it?
You just need to listen to it. Maybe we'll put like a 5-second thing right here just to get the vibe. But
okay.
It's a great song. Dead Milkmen are kind of like an irreverent punk band that was big in the 80s.
Okay.
But they're also like silly. So they also, and BDT brought this up, he was like, well, did you then listen to Bitch and Camaro? Which I may have showed you in the past. It's a fantastic, crazy song. I can remember my brother showing me Bitch and Camaro when I was little and thinking like, this is the coolest thing ever. I had a decision to make in the car. Like I wanted to be like, do you know Bitch and Camaro? But I was like, maybe if she didn't, then she goes home and was like, hey, and then we were listening to Bitch and Camaro. I don't know. I didn't know if Bitch and Camaro was...
The bitch.
The bitch of it all. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I was like, oh my God, we're getting like cool, like we're about to have like a cool teenager in the house.
Well, we're not. Her family is.
No.
Our kids are very cool in their own very unique ways.
They are very cool.
They are very cool.
This friend is very cool, but it's all going to seep in. And I think
it is going to seep in.
And I think who's
feeding that pipeline of cool to
I don't know. This kid also knew about the Misfits, which I was like, you're listening to the Misfits? And then the
Ramones.
and said, Teddy, Misfits might be a little too much for you. And then we were listening to Ramones, which that's great that's like a great rite of passage for I think a middle schooler. That's fun.
Totally.
Ramones, but yeah, it blew
say
my mind.
What she said again.
Dead Milkmen, Punk Rock Girl.
Okay.
It's a fun song too.
Were you like, oh my? Did you show, or was it more internal that you were impressed?
I think I showed a little externally and internally. I wish there would have been like video footage of me, a dash cam being like, oh, what? Holy shit. Okay. Well, Dead Milkmen.
Yeah.
But anyways, it got me kind of excited for this era, which I know will come also with many struggles. Because we're going to have an emotional teenager in a couple years in the house. But it was also kind of exciting. Like, oh, we're getting to that age.
Yeah, that's really fun.
No more Blippy. We're talking about the Dead Milkmen now.
Move the fuck over, Blippy.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was a kid, I mean, a little bit older, I'm thinking more of in St. Louis era. So 11, 12, 13, 14.
15, 16.
I spent so many endless hours in my room just like listening to music and dancing. And I had a mirror closet door in my room.
Okay.
Oh my God. I spent so much time. And it wasn't a vanity thing. I was just feeling like feelings and connecting with myself. But seeing my reflection.
Yeah.
God. And, our kid has started spending more, I mean, barely any, but a little bit of time closed off in their room. And I'm kind of like, I think that's great.
What was the coolest music you were listening to, like middle school through like freshman year? Did you have anything on your radar then? Or were you just like pop on the radio?
Middle school, probably Violent Femmes. What is your face?
I don't believe you. Now, you famously took drum lessons from one of the members of Violent Femmes.
Guy Hoffman.
I don't see you listening to Violent Femmes in middle school at all.
Yeah, they were... yeah. I mean, I also listened to a lot of Paula Abdul.
Sure, yeah.
Madonna.
Forever Your Girl.
Straight Up Now Tell Me.
Yep, straight up. Opposites attract. Rush. Ooh, with Keanu Reeves in the video. Remember that video?
Yes.
Yep.
Pedophile Michael Jackson. I don't, and I think Violent Femmes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Huey Lewis and the News was in our house. A lot. I have very vivid memories. Now, this was actually our house more in San Francisco, but my mom would just blast Gershwin all the livelong day. Mm-hmm. I do think I listened to Violent Femmes.
Maybe Violent Femmes, Huey Lewis and the News, Gershwin.
And then because of our dance studio, I listened to like Burning Down the House.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Talking Heads.
Talking Heads. Uh-huh. U2. Oh, U2 was
okay. We're the most popular band in the universe when we were kids.
Then I got into more like hardcore rap.
Yeah. Mine would have been the closest to like Dead Milkmen. I did know Bitch and Camaro, but I definitely went through a Doors phase, and I had my Led Zeppelin phase, which I think like when you get a guitar, like 5th, 6th grade guitar, you kind of have to have a Led Zeppelin phase.
You know, I went deep into Pink Floyd when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I listened a lot to that Dark Side of the Moon album. Mm-hmm. Cat Stevens was significant. Mm-hmm. There was a time in my life where I listened to Cat Stevens like every single night before going to bed. Tea for the Tillerman. So
that's not cool, but cool.
Is it not cool? Hang on, Mr. Music Man.
Yeah.
Who are you to decide what's cool or not cool?
Oh, I'm not. I'm definitely not. I like lots of things that aren't cool, or in quotes cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think anything that I liked felt. I mean,
I just want you to know that the difference between Cat Stevens and the Dead Milkmen, as far as in quotes coolness.
Oh, I'm so intimidated by this 4th grader.
You are.
I kind of am. Oh my God, she's really the coolest. Okay, wait. Yeah. I feel like you had another story from that opera.
Oh, okay. So it was based on Noah's Ark. I think the opera's called Noah's Flood, which would make a lot of sense. But no, it's by like a famous British composer that made this opera in like the 50s. Here's the problem. In the opera, it is an opera. It's in English.
Is it? Okay, wait. You just said a composer in the 60s. It's based on, or it was written on by?
He made the opera.
Okay, so this is like an opera that's
Noah's
like
Ark.
Going around town.
So it's in English, but it's an opera. You know, sometimes it's hard to understand what they're saying in an opera, even if it's in English. They had stuff.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah. They had cool like subtitles, like lit up kind of like on a wall so you could see what was going on. But let's be honest, I'm kind of like in and out of the thing. I'm half watching subtitles sometimes. I'm half, listening to the music. I'm half, as you know, just on another fucking planet, nowhere in that fucking cathedral, paying attention at all.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
It's in a cathedral. So this is like a religious experience.
For maybe some people.
Okay.
I will say, though, at one point in time, I was jarred by the sound of Noah's wife slapping him in the face. Whoa, what is that? And I think the whole cathedral was like, whoa, we didn't know that Noah was going to get slapped by his wife.
Is that in El Bible?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Is that in the Bible?
Here's the thing.
Some bitches slap. I don't think that happened. There was plenty of it the other way. Men slapping bitches. But I don't think it was allowed.
She doesn't even have like a name in the real story in the Bible.
Like
it's just Noah's wife. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Handmaid's Tale.
You bring up great questions. I really don't have the answers because I tried to do a little search on this because one, it got me it got me curious about women slapping their husbands or husbands slapping women, just domestic violence in the Bible in general.
Uh-huh.
But I quickly then got veered more into the story of Noah's Ark.
Uh-huh.
And here's the problem. There's so many different versions of it. There's one version where Noah's 500 years old when God comes to him and is like, you got to build this ark. And then it takes him like 100 years or something to make it. Then there are some quacks that I think like, no, it was actually like the Ark, it took like X amount of days and they were only on the Ark for like 187 days. And I'm like, show me the fucking Ark. And there's still people out there that are looking for the Ark. There are people out there that look for the Ark.
This is all like, wait, is this real? I mean, hang on. I know it's not real, but like, does it really say in the word of the Lord that Noah was 500 years old? And the flood was what?
That's one version of the story. Since you have your computer,
but what's in the Bible?
Will you type this? Ready?
Uh-huh.
How old is Noah? Would it be the Old or New Testament?
You have been throwing around Old or New Testament a lot lately.
It's a big difference.
I know, but you don't know. Tell me what the difference is between Old or New Testament.
The Old Testament is the first version, and it's much more like the Hebrew-based version. The New Testament is typically what we think of like modern-day Catholicism.
Catholicism?
Yeah, for one. Or, there's obviously all the other Christian religions and whatnot, but like the Catholicism is the New Testament, is its Bible, if you will.
So when I read the Bible, I was only reading, oh, you're right. Okay. Okay. So did Noah become intoxicated due to the death of his wife? Does that explain why he became a farmer? And there's no record of him having children after the flood. How did Noah's daughters get him drunk if he had no daughter? People are fucking out of their minds.
Okay, hold on though. Is Noah's Ark in the New Testament or Old Testament?
Oh, is Noah's Ark in the New? The story of Noah's Ark is originally told in the book of Genesis, which is the first book of the Old Testament.
Of the Old Testament?
Yeah.
Okay, will you look, how old was Noah when he started building the Ark in Genesis, or should you say in the Old Testament?
Oh boy. According to this is on Christianity.com.
I don't think you could ask for a better source. I'm assuming Christianity.com is like one of the places. That sounds awesome.
It's got to be a go-to. Okay. But I just want the answer. I don't want to read a whole fucking thing. It is Noah is believed to have been around 500 years old.
Get the fuck out of here.
God, this is so annoying.
500 years old.
Come on. So in the first book of the Old Testament, we can basically debunk the whole everything.
Well, some people might say that, okay, so here's the problem is it's very easy to be
Were years different back then?
Were what different?
Years.
Oh. Had not even thought of that. I love the theory. What a simple hack that would be if that explained all of it.
Yeah. He was really 50.
Wow. I don't think that's it though. Some people with this version of it, this Old Testament version, I think some people are like, no, you're supposed to interpret it as more of a fable. And it's like, okay, well, what stuff is a fable and what isn't in the Bible?
Exactly.
Which, we're not Christian.com contributors, so we don't have these answers, but it does seem a little odd. But then there's other stories of the Ark, like this play or opera, I should say, where it's a much smaller timeline. But I think in all of them, the wife is like, no, this is fucking bullshit. Like, why are you doing this? Which makes a lot more sense in the 100-year one. If for 100 years he's building a fucking boat and all he talks about is a boat. His wife, if I was his wife, I would be fucking annoyed. You're telling me this flood's going to come in 100 years? Noah, can we focus on something? Like, you're crazy, Noah. Yeah, we need, yeah. You're not laying with me in the bed anymore. Like,
I'm going to hit you. And I mean, that's so, this slap.
Yeah, but she is so annoyed, and she doesn't want to get on the boat. She wants nothing to do with it. Which in there's two contexts. One is like, lady, get on the fucking boat. Like, there's going to be a flood, but she doesn't know that there is a flood.
If you lost your goddamn mind,
yeah,
and started building a spaceship,
yeah,
because the aliens are coming, and God told you this,
yeah, oh yeah,
I would get on it with you.
Oh, not where I thought that was going, but that means a lot to me. I thought what you were pointing out is like, it is crazy. You'd be like, What the? You have to tell all your friends?
Well, I would get on it.
Building a spaceship?
I know. I would get on it knowing that I'm like going down with you.
Okay, but just think how good Noah did feel
Oh,
when that
my
flood came.
gosh.
But was it bittersweet? And was that God brought this wrath because he was sick of people and how they turned out, right?
Well, if
So
that's your God, you're feeling very smug. You don't give a fuck about all those stupid idiots.
No, but I think God's bummed if Noah feels smug from the flood.
But why does God get to be so hateful? And okay, now you're getting me heated. Why does God get to actually like drown everything? God
because he
this
fucked
case,
up. He was like, what did
No.
I create with Adam and Eve? I botched it.
But that's what he allegedly was doing with Jesus later.
What do you mean?
Like the whole, I might be off on this, but like I think the whole crux of Christianity is that God realized he kind of fucked up with humans.
Okay.
And so he sent his son down.
Okay.
Now, I don't really understand how this translates to fixing it.
Let's pretend, though, that you do know and whatever you say is the right version.
Okay.
I mean, I want to live in that world.
And Jesus died for our sins. Like, he sacrificed, he loves us so much.
Who? Jesus or God?
God.
No, but he's so annoyed with us.
I know, but, well, so let's just go back to the Noah thing. It feels very hypocritical, I'm going to say, of the Lord above to mercilessly murder every living organism outside of
the ones on the boat,
one man and all of the animals and his wife and his sons and wives and stuff.
Yeah.
And yet he will judge Noah for feeling smug.
Because if Noah can't feel smug, at least to his wife, when those waters start coming and he's on his big fucking boat, like, listen, I fucking told you so.
Yeah.
How good of a feeling would that be?
Now, I feel
he's been told he's crazy for 100 years, and now he gets to tell his wife who slapped him?
I know. And so God being like, no, you don't get to feel smug while I murder all these people doesn't quite jive with me.
I do think that's how God would feel, though.
No. What God are you believing in? This wrathful, hateful?
The same one that was that started the flood. I don't think he's going to give Noah that grace to feel smug.
This is why I don't. Okay. Seems like this opera had quite an impact on you, even though you were like halfway there.
Yeah.
This brings up something interesting. Preppers.
Great. I see the similarities.
Okay. Now, I should hope so. Oh my god. Oh, that really was funny. Okay. Okay. So, I can't even get back from this. Okay. So, we see some preppers. I don't think we see preppers the way there are preppers like out in Idaho and like other places where they have
Bunkers.
There's fucking bunkers.
Sorry to interrupt. Where were you Y2K? What college were you at? Were you in California by this point, or were you in Ohio?
Oh, I was in California. I might have even been graduated.
Okay, because I was in Montana, and let me tell you, I know everywhere around the country there were Y2K businesses.
Yeah, and for any youngsters who are like, what's Y2K?
Yeah.
The year that New Year's Eve...
99 into
99 into 00. There was all this hullabaloo and there was all of this...
fear.
Fear that something... But it was also like... I think it was kind of unfounded, but maybe a little bit founded. But
they were able to iron out most of it, and nothing really went wrong.
The computers basically were all going to like disintegrate and crash because the coding couldn't handle being reset to zero.
The fear was that we designed a computer infrastructure that, for the most part, interpreted years with 2 digits. just the 1900s. Instead of it being 1900, it was just 00. So 1980 was 80 in computers. So the fear was once it goes to 0, all hell's going to break loose.
And like our lighting grid will go down, our water, all of the basic things.
But also like for people that design computers, like a pretty big oversight too. Anyway, let's not go on that tangent.
I don't know that it was real. That's why I said Hello Blue. I feel like it was a little like unfounded.
But so living in Montana, I was going to college at that time. The amount of Y2K stores, they were everywhere.
Wow.
Stores.
Wow.
Like prepper stores, which I don't know if you had that experience.
I didn't see a prepper store.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
But I am thinking about, okay, on a small scale, you have a problem, you still have it, where there are always fucking these mini hands. Do you go to a grocery store and not buy mini hand sanitizers when you see them?
I bought some at Target the other day. I only buy them at Target, the 99-cent ones. There's a particular ones I like.
But why do you keep buying them?
Because when we run out of them, I like to have one in the car.
Do you use them?
Every time I get in my car after shopping, I use it.
Okay, well, I like the Trader Joe's nice stuff.
Well, I don't.
Okay.
I think I don't think that stuff works.
Okay, well, that's like based on what? Because
it's like
it doesn't
weird,
burn you with like a weird alcohol.
That's part of it.
Okay.
If I'm going to be honest.
Okay. Anyway, but this was well before the pandemic started. You were hoarding and stockpiling hand sanitizer in a way that drove me absolutely crazy. And even like a month before COVID really came to our shores, I was like, Andy, you have to stop this. It's like a compulsion. And well, then, of course, it was like, look who's laughing now. You're Noah in Noah's Ark going, suck this and...
Suck this!
You're actually putting the hand sanitizer as lube.
Just squirting it everywhere.
Okay, anyway, so... I
do not think you would ever want to use that as lube, just for anyone out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Burn.
We also... This was before the pandemic. In our preschool we went to, there was one time that there was a lockdown. I really wish we could say who it was because it's a
pretty funny
pseudo famous person who our kids' school went on lockdown right at pickup, right?
Yeah.
And basically, there was nothing going on the campus. It was like something happening outside of the campus and the police. These lockdowns happen all the time. But you're just sitting in your car waiting in front of like the pickup place.
Yeah.
And you see this car fly up. And I know this car, it's the one that has like one of those big tubes so it can go underwater and shit.
Yeah. It was like a cool, it was like a prepper vibe Land Cruiser, sort of.
Yes. And then the dad like jumps out in like tactical gear and grabs a backpack.
He had a backpack.
And then scales the fence and goes in.
Yeah.
And at the time you're like, what is happening? This is crazy. And also there is a little bit of this push and pull of like, you seem a little crazy like Noah, but also now that we're on the flip side of things, we couldn't have even fathomed with COVID and everything. And all this other social stuff going on. Like, I guess I get it. Where was I going with this?
Well, no, I think the point you're making is like in a particular context.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even take that much. The preppers can go from batshit crazy to like us knocking on the door. Like, can we stay here?
Oh, so this is what I was going to get to. Thank you. You just like reverted me. Like that story about that guy when we used to tell it at dinner parties or something, everyone's like, that's crazy. And now it's like, oh, yeah, I kind of, good for him.
Right.
But here's where I'm at. If like you spent a year building a space shuttle and sure enough, like shit came to, there's some sort of Space Jam war happening, basketball, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to be on the Ark. Like, if all of humanity is going down and just the only people left are the ones who own the Y2K stores or have bunkers with 800 pounds of like canned food and I don't know that I don't know.
No. I absolutely understand what you're saying. Makes complete sense. The bunker one too. Even all that fear, was it like Cold War fear, or like, yeah, I'm gonna be down underground with this canned food for 20 years to come out to see a nuked world. How, like, yeah, am I the last person there? I understand that philosophically, but just to be clear, in the case that I built the rocket and everyone thought I was crazy for a year, you then wouldn't get on it if
No,
today. Okay,
I
you would
started
come.
this saying I'm getting on it with you,
Okay,
but
great.
I'm also like,
I see.
oh God, it's almost like it's really an interesting question for me as a person who's married to you. Like, I think I would be watching you with concern, going,
I actually think our marriage would probably dissolve if
well,
I
maybe
truly was trying to make a spaceship for a
I
few
don't
years.
know though. I'm like, I think I would reach a fork in the road.
Yeah.
Where I'd have to go. Now the kids are there, so I'd probably have to, not probably. I would put them first, no offense, but like, let's say the kids are grown. I'd reach a fork in the road where I have to go, am I going to like dive down into the madness with my partner to stay with him? Or am I going to stay right here with my feet firmly on the land of sanity? But it's really interesting because, no offense to, like really literalist Christians who take the Bible but like believing in that is kind of diving into insanity.
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But anyway, I can totally see a version of me that gets on that spacecraft with you, really knowing though that this is like probably not going to pan out the way you think it is. And then when it does, go, oh my God, holy shit, he was right. Like, this is amazing.
So there would be
doubt.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I have something in
kind
my
of
eye.
and kind of a brewing resentment that would be abated though once the aliens did come, and you would be like, "Oh, phew! I'm glad I stuck around.
Yes,
I'm glad I was his
Whip
ride or
out
die."
that hand sanitizer, baby.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So excited to shout out this week's sponsor, Songfinch.
Yes!
Are you trying to find the perfect gift for someone in your life, but feeling overwhelmed? Finding a truly unique gift that they'll actually love can be challenging and frustrating. That's why we are so excited to have Songfinch in our life and have discovered this amazing service. It is an amazing, thoughtful gift and so easy and fun to make. So basically, you go to songfinch.com/NLR, and at Songfinch, you get to make a song of your dreams that you can give to somebody. You could even give one for yourself if you wanted.
Honestly, yeah, you need to pick me up. It's a great way to treat yourself.
So if you haven't heard the one I made for Elizabeth, we played it a couple weeks ago. It's called My Nacho Queen Elizabeth. You can find it on Spotify if you want to go check it out. For a limited time, Songfinch is letting our listeners upload their song to Spotify for free, so you and the lucky person you gift it to can listen to it anywhere, anytime. Go to songfinch.com/NLR to start. After you purchase, you'll be prompted to add Spotify streaming to your original song for free, a $50 value. Again, our URL is songfinch.com/NLR. Don't forget to share your song with us too. songfinch.com/NLR.
Would you, now if the roles were reversed, you would be I mean, it's really sad. You'd be hightailed out of there so fast.
I would.
There's no world.
I think if you got like really deep into some sort of culty type thing, even I would have a hard time sticking with you probably. Like if it really went against my belief system and I thought you were really like going down a path that was bad for you, but you couldn't hear it from me at all. And I like tried to control you and put you in your place.
Slap me. Now,
do you know what I mean though?
We kind of talked about this before, not on the podcast, but I could see, I've been having wanderlust and looking at all of these like other cities and things to do, and so many amazing, beautiful cathedrals that I feel, like put all the Catholic like pedophilia sanctioned corporate greed stuff aside. Hard to sparse out, but
sparse out?
Parse.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. But like, I could see a world where I start going to Catholic masses again because I find them comforting. I won't give money to the church. I don't agree with the religion. I probably won't take communion ever again. But it does tap me into something, I think, spiritually that's my own thing that's separate from Catholic rules. But I do like it. I love being in a beautiful cathedral and the silence and, you know, the smell and but I want you to know that that wouldn't be me like becoming Catholic again.
Yeah, no, the difference would be like if your whole identity was changing because of this new belief system. I think a cult is a better analogy, that I saw you adopting a thing where I was like, whoa, this is dangerous. This is bad. I see the organization trying to distance you from your family.
You know, it can
friends.
happen like in little bits and pieces.
No, I know.
We know someone who joined a cult and not, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Can sneak up on you.
No, I know. I think we have a pretty sensitive radar for that kind of stuff.
Faux show.
Hey, I clicked on Apple News some like list of like quirky American things.
Yeah, I love that. Tell me.
And one of them was,
grilled cheese.
You know, through the eyes of like a foreigner, was, you know, at like they were talking about tipping at restaurants.
Yes.
And we've talked
very recently
about like that conundrum of going to the restaurant where you order at the counter, and do you tip if you're getting takeout, or do you get a tip even if they're just like bringing food out to you or calling your name to get your food?
Yeah,
just that tipping at the counter.
There should be a differentiation, in my opinion, between a tip where you're being served throughout a meal versus a tip where someone at the counter is putting something in the bag for you.
Right.
And so it does upset me when it's like the option that comes up is like 25%. And it's like, no, I'm not going to tip. You know, I'll tip. I now have a new set of rules since we talked about this. I tip 20 to 22% eating at a meal. If it's like above and beyond, or if they give you some like a free appetizer or something like that, I'll tip 25%.
Okay, nice.
Counter service, 15.
If they're bringing it out to you?
No, if it's just like
even takeout?
At a coffee shop, they're like, here's your sandwich and coffee at the counter.
Okay. They're calling your name or number?
Yeah. Or they're just handing
it to you right then. You do 15%.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. I feel like I do that probably most of the time. Now I'm trying to do 10%. But the thing on this list that the foreigner was pointing out was that, wow, is it confusing, because at the same time all that happens, Americans don't do that at any fast food restaurant, which is like, okay, true, they're huge corporations, but it's also like, why we think the people that work at McDonald's don't deserve that 10-15% tip, but we're giving it to these, like,
that's why those
logic doesn't quite make sense.
I know. I hope that those employees are unionizing and stuff. It's so interesting because we've already talked about this.
Yeah, we don't have to get into it. Yeah.
But I mean, I do think, can you imagine you being a foreigner coming to America? The tipping system alone would
so
break
confusing.
you.
It's so confusing.
We're confused even dealing with it in our own. I really appreciate countries over yonder where they pay everyone a living wage.
Yeah.
Everyone has free health care. Not free, but it's built into your wages. Like, those systems are in place so that tipping, people aren't living off of the tips the way they do here.
Yeah. I just thought that was weird because I'd never thought of the fact. Do you ever tip at Starbucks?
Yes.
You do?
It depends which one. So I have actually had this thought too, because sometimes there's like a Starbucks inside of Vons, and it doesn't, because it's the Vons payment system.
Okay.
It doesn't give you the option to tip. So you'd have to tip. I pulled out a dollar bill the other day and put it in the little tip thing, and she was like, "Thank you." Okay. And I was like, "Oh gosh, these people really aren't getting tips."
Yeah.
Now, Starbucks employees, for the most part here, are unionized, I believe. So I think that hopefully they are getting paid a better salary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always feel a little bit weird with that. Whereas, like, I think other Starbucks, there's the tip option, and I do tip.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have been... Okay, I'm reading this book called Soar. Might have even been a nobody who directed me to this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm only like a third of the way through it. It's really interesting. I mean, it's very similar in spirit to the sex book I just read, Come As You Are, in the sense of like it gets into the way your brain works.
Okay.
And so it's not so much about, I don't know, the other kind of ways that I've looked at dealing with fear of flying have been so psychological.
Oh, it's a fear. You know, no one knew what Soar was about until this very second.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So it's a fear of flying book?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not Soar like a...
Oh, it could be anything.
Herpes complex. Soar, S-O-A-R.
But could still be a book about a bird. It could be a book about anything.
So it's
about finding your true self and soaring.
It's
anything.
a book about not being such a scared little bitch.
Okay.
On the airplane, which I mean, and it is really speaking to me. Now, of course, I won't know if any of this works. I felt before, I've got this, and then I go on a plane and it turns out I don't. But this one is all about like, it gives you real exercises that you can do, mental, to combat basically the release of stress hormones that are happening from your amygdala, which are like almond-shaped little things in your brain that release all this stress hormones. And normally your like executive decision making will kick in if you get a stress hormone. So like, let's say something unusual happens. There's a big boom outside.
Okay.
And you and I both, our stress hormone is released and we're both like kind of straighten up and are like, oh my gosh, what was that? Maybe our executive function is like, go outside and see what it is and assess what's happening. And then we realize, oh, it was just a garbage truck dropped a thing. There's no danger. So we
can chill.
Yeah. The action I'm going to take is nothing. Now, when you commit to the action, even if it's doing nothing, is when the stress hormone stops releasing. But if you don't like have the information, you can't commit to action. And when you're stuck in a plane, normally the action to get away from something scary is to like remove yourself, and you can't do that. So basically what happens is the stress hormone is just releasing, and it sends you into this panic. And this book is all about how to kind of desensitize the stress hormone and like regulate all these functions so that it's very interesting.
Are you planning on flying soon? I almost feel like you should wait till you're about to fly.
No, this book says don't do that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like getting put in my place by a book.
And it's like I'm taking it to the cabin this weekend because it's like read this book within a week.
Oh yeah. Great.
And then you can do these exercises as much as you need leading up to it.
You know what's different or what's interesting about what you said of the like garbage can example? That's a great example of like, that's the reason that happened, was not ever a threat to me. Whatever. But what about the things where you get in a near car crash, right? And it's like, there's a relief from being like, oh, we're fine. But there's also the stress of like, oh, but that could have been so much worse.
Well, so that will like prime you. I mean, it's such a primitive thing, prime, to then be like, what?
There's no link between those two, is there? Prime you and primitive in this example? Or is there a link?
Well,
maybe there is.
I don't know.
I think...
My like head, I feel very fucked. Do I have COVID? I feel like...
No, you just seem so like proud of yourself for connecting those dots. And maybe I'm just an asshole, but it's like, I don't know if there's dots to connect in that example. But maybe there are. Well, listen, I'm no linguist.
So it's priming you to be aware of something that could happen similar to that. Well, so this is a whole thing is pilots on flights. This is all going to kind of come together, I hope, but might not. Oftentimes, flight attendants will have to come to the pilot and go, I think we should turn on the seatbelt sign because pilots are so used to the feelings of turbulence have implanted and they've been so many times it's happened over and over that their amygdala doesn't even release stress hormones anymore because there have been so many situations where it's been like, oh, that was nothing. Oh, that was nothing. Oh, like now that we hear.
Yeah, imagine if you're a New York City window skyscraper washer. The first few times a big gust of wind comes,
Exactly.
you're going to be shitting your pants. But if you're seasoned pro 20 years later, it's going to take a lot to make your hair on your back go up.
So that's one of the things in this book is now next time I'm in a flight with turbulence, I am going to objectively be looking at turbulence like a scientist and going, oh, that feels like that. Now that one feels like that. Now that one's blah, blah, blah. So that it's imprinting on me. This is what turbulence feels like. This is going to be a nightmare.
This isn't going to work for you.
Hey, don't say that. That's like actually really bad. Because it's a big fear. Yes, it has a whole chapter about how you might not think this is going to work for you.
Your asshole husband is sabotaging this journey of yours.
Okay, so anyway, but where were we going? Oh my gosh.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're losing it, but it's fine.
Okay. So, yeah. Oh, so the accident thing, that's the opposite effect, where now you're going to be hyper alert. And that's kind of how I am about crossing streets now because we've had so many situations where I now know that I'm a crazy person crossing the street where I'm like, holding my hand up to every car in a really aggressive way. Like I've already judged them for doing something they haven't even done.
Yeah.
And they'll probably run me over just to make a point.
That's really naughty behavior. The person that does that.
Well,
a spiteful
remember, someone almost did that. Ugh. Anyway, let's get in our little spaceship.
You did something the other day that I really appreciated, and like it in a weird way kind of turned me on. I opened the dishwasher, and we've had the same dishwasher since we've lived in this house. Oh, that's not true, but it's a dishwasher. We've had a dishwasher, and we have these. The kids have like bento boxes for their lunchbox, like little containers things. And you had like discovered a new way to put them in the dishwasher that we'd never thought of, where they're like more tilting up against the very front.
Yeah.
And so you had these two things in there tilted perfect in a way that I'd never seen before. And then the rest of the dishwasher, there were a few other things you just put in a very mindful way, which I think the cliche sometimes, maybe it's on women or maybe it's just on the one partner and the relationship is like, you don't know how to load dishwasher. But this was so precise and fresh. A new approach that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It was awesome. And you did a great job. And
Thank you so much.
It kind of turned me on in a weird way.
Well, I really appreciate that you notice it. I have mentioned a few times to you that when you put the bowls in, you really got to tilt them. Otherwise, the pool of water just sits on the top. And so I've been like very kind of tuned into the dishwasher. Thank you for the compliment. Here's a criticism. Great. Okay. Sorry, real fast. Going back to prepping.
Yeah.
What treats would you have in your bunker? Because obviously you need to focus on, and by the way,
Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
That seemed to be
That was
smart.
Very quick.
Because I think they
They're
last
shelf-stable.
pretty well. And then also with the sun thing, like, you can look at the clips through Pop-Tart wrapper in case like maybe nuclear explosion. Maybe that would be handy to have those wrappers, like you save them maybe.
The foil wrappers?
Yeah. You can see through them.
You can look in it. Wait, hang on. Just step lightly here.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at an eclipse through a Pop-Tart wrapper?
Will you just Google it?
Okay. Can you look eclipse
through Pop-Tart wrapper?
Okay.
Suck that! Squirting hand sanitizer all over you right now.
Oh my God. That's so random.
Yeah.
Wow.
So smart. That's a
Maybe
smart
multi-use
treat. Yeah,
there.
exactly. That's one.
Great.
I do think, though, I don't know how long they truly are chef stable.
Yeah, I'm
So
not
I'd also
sure.
want some candy that would last a
Candy.
long
Well,
time.
that's what I was thinking. And also like Twizzlers. Or like, red vines. Those puppies last
That's
for
probably
a long
very good.
time.
Would you want any mints? No, we don't
For
really.
my breath?
Who would care about breath at that point?
Yeah. What's a water situation? I'm sure preppers have thought of that.
You need that potable water, and that's going to be harder and harder to get.
Yeah.
I think you have some barrels in your
Do you know,
bunker.
I mean, I do think very much so that, like, in our lifetime, should we, should the glory of God give us a long life, which I think, so far I feel pretty confident that you and I will live a long time. Yeah, water is going to be, I think we are going to see like the water wars starting.
Ooh, water wars.
Where just water is such a scarce, precious resource that we now are just, like, we're going to look back on this time and be like, we just flushed clean, like perfect clean water in our toilets every time we went a little tinkle. Are you fucking kidding me? How like wasteful we've been. I remember this girl, Kaylin, in my high school talking about how horrified she was about that back in high school. And me being like, what? Get over yourself.
So what was she doing?
I mean, maybe she was letting yellow mellow or whatever. I don't know.
We used to yellow mellow, or we used to mellow yellow.
I know. It gets tricky with kids. Because then, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, yes, I think there will be water wars. Carry on. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was going to say, a few episodes ago, you were kind of just talking about sugar and treats in general.
Yes.
We were talking about that, and there were a bunch of comments that I'd kind of put in this doc that maybe I want to visit real quick, just because I thought they were interesting. Meredith had said, Elizabeth, what woman who grew up in the 80s and 90s is just a normal person who eats what they want and doesn't overthink it? What I'd give to be her.
So true.
Right?
I think that, I really hope that changes for our kids. I know it has changed for even people in their 30s have, someone who's 30, 15 years difference. Not to say that they haven't had shit foisted on them.
A different set,
but I swear to God, even that difference is significant from like someone my age, where it was just like so baked in that your primary goal was to be as skinny as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Someone said, as a 27-year-old who grew up in a candy basket household, I have a great relationship with food. My mom raised me with the mentality that everything is okay in moderation, which I think is great. And I think, I grew up in a candy basket house, and I do not have
I know. I will say, pretty much everyone I know who grew up with a candy bowl or basket seems okay. Unless it was like, if it was just kind of there, unless it was like used and lorded upon, and I don't know. That seems to be the thing. I feel like it's kids who there are also people I think who grew up with parents or with the message of you shouldn't eat anything, you can't eat anything sweet or any treats or anything pleasurable. But then we're like constantly being offered and fed the same thing that they're told they can't have. That's a whole mindfuck. I didn't have that.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah, I think that's a thing.
You can't have this thing, yet they're getting it all the time?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That would be confusing.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think that, given my kind of confusing upbringing around that, I think we're doing a great job with the kids. Like, they don't seem to, we have one who has more of a sweet tooth than the other, but I don't think it's like an issue. And they definitely, there's no way and hopefully it's, I mean, unless they listen to this podcast at some point, like, I think they would have no idea that I have this relationship with food history.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think
we both seem very healthy and moderate and, like, you know, not restrictive and chill about it all.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's also just nice to know
I'm not alone.
Especially, that you're not alone. And like, these were a couple of comments, but there were a bunch more of being like, it's insane. But also, you're not alone, which is cool.
I do feel like I'm in a very, very good place about all of it. Like, looking back on my life and going like, I don't know if I would have thought that I'd be here.
Yeah.
And very kind of overall very at peace with everything.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, this was fun.
You're about to hear the song of the summer, ... FrOsTbiTe. So enjoy. And
stream it for your kids.
Also, should we only like play like 30 seconds so people go to Spotify to listen to it?
Yes, and you want to listen to the very end because there's a very
You got to go to the end. That's
part
right.
at the very end. So this is a teaser.
This is a teaser. ...
And another way you can support us besides streaming our child's first drop.
We've got to get a lot of streams.
Is patreon.com/nobody's listening right. We have a fantastic, fun bonus episode coming out
the 15th of every month.
So that would be
maybe today.
Today.
Oh, there you go. Double trouble.
I'm going to get into it.
Oh, gosh. You keep saying that. I can't wait. I literally have no idea.
Yeah, it's happening. All right. Thanks for listening and good night.
Good night.
Whenever I see that frostbite on your face, whenever I see that frostbite on your face, I just wanna touch the frostbite on your face.